Welcome, Shadow Seekers, to American Shadows, Crimes and Chronicles. Today, we're unearthing a tale that'll haunt your thoughts long after it ends. Whether you're glued to the screen or just listening in, you're in for a wild ride through history's darkest corners. If you're new, hit subscribe to join our mission of exposing America's hidden truths. Regulars, your likes fuel our journey into the unknown. Now, let's peel back the layers of time and reveal the secrets beneath. Ready? Let's begin. The Unabomber, Unmasked, the Manifesto, that ended a 17-year manhunt. Hello, friends, and welcome to American Shadows, Crimes and Chronicles. Today we're delving into one of the most extensive and captivating criminal investigations in American history. A tale of intellect, ideology, and a relentless pursuit that spanned nearly 2 decades. On September 19, 1995, a major breakthrough occurred when the Washington Post, in collaboration with the New York Times, took the unprecedented step of publishing a 35,000-word manifesto, penned by the mysterious figure known as the Unabomber. Who was this elusive individual behind a series of bombings that terrorized the nation? How did the publication of his manifesto lead to his eventual capture? And what can we learn from this complex story of a man who transformed from a brilliant mathematician into a domestic terrorist? Before we unravel this gripping tale, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you who support our work. Your engagement allows us to explore these pivotal moments in recent history, helping us understand how they continue to shape our society today. The Reign of Terror. The story of the Unabomber begins on May 25, 1978, when a package containing a crude explosive device was found at Northwestern University. The device injured a campus police officer, marking the first in a series of attacks that would span 17 years. The bomber targeted universities, airlines, and individuals associated with modern technology, leading the FBI to designate the case as Unabomber, short for University and Airline Bomber. Over the years, the Unabomber's devices became increasingly sophisticated and deadly, resulting in 3 fatalities and 23 injuries. The randomness of the targets and the meticulous construction of the bombs made the perpetrator incredibly difficult to track. The FBI assembled a task force dedicated to the case, making it one of the most extensive and costly investigations in the Bureau's history. The Unabomber remained elusive, leaving few clues beyond the devices themselves. Investigators analyzed every component for fingerprints, DNA, and other traces, but were met with frustration at every turn. The bomber was meticulous, taking great care to avoid leaving any identifying evidence. A turning point. Then, in June 1995, a turning point occurred. The Unabomber sent letters to several publications, including the New York Times and the Washington Post, demanding that his 35,000-word manifesto, titled Industrial Society and Its Future, be published in full. He promised to desist from terrorism if his demand was met. This demand placed the newspapers in an unprecedented ethical dilemma. On one hand, publishing the manifesto could be seen as giving in to the demands of a terrorist. It could potentially encourage other criminals to make similar demands. On the other hand, the publication could lead to the Unabomber's capture and end his reign of terror. The decision wasn't made lightly. For weeks, the editors of both papers grappled with the implications. They consulted with the FBI and the Attorney General's office. The government, while not officially endorsing the publication, believed that it could lead to the Unabomber's identification. The manifesto goes public. Finally, on September 19, 1995, the Washington Post, in conjunction with the New York Times, published the manifesto in full. It appeared as an 8-page supplement in the Post, with the Times sharing the costs and publishing it on their website. The Post publisher, Donald Graham, stated that they were publishing under the theory that the safety of the public is paramount. The publication of the manifesto was a media sensation. Millions of Americans read the words of the man who had terrorized the nation for nearly 2 decades. The document revealed a mind that was at once brilliant and deeply troubled. It railed against industrial society and modern technology, arguing that they had destabilized society, subjected human beings to indignities, and would eventually lead to social and psychological catastrophe. The manifesto's publication sparked intense debate. Some praised the newspapers for potentially aiding in the Unabomber's capture. Others criticized them for capitulating to the demands of a terrorist. It raised profound questions about media ethics, public safety, and the responsibilities of the press in a free society. The breakthrough. But beyond the ethical debates, the Manifesto's publication set in motion a chain of events that would lead to the Unabomber's capture. As millions read his words, one reader found them disturbingly familiar. David Kaczynski began to suspect that the Unabomber might be his older brother, Ted, a brilliant mathematician who had abandoned modern society to live in isolation in a small cabin in rural Montana. After agonizing over the decision, David and his wife provided Ted's name to the FBI. The linguistic analysis of the Manifesto matched Ted's writing style, and on April 3, 1996, FBI agents arrested Theodore Kaczynski at his remote cabin in Montana, bringing an end to one of the longest and most expensive manhunts in FBI history. The search of Kaczynski's cabin revealed bomb components, a live bomb ready for mailing, and tens of thousands of pages of writings, including the original typed manuscript of the Manifesto. The man behind the Unabomber's reign of terror was finally unmasked. Legacy and reflection. The publication of the Unabomber's Manifesto and the subsequent capture of Ted Kaczynski had far-reaching implications. It challenged traditional notions of media responsibility and set a precedent for how news organizations might handle similar situations in the future. The ethical dilemma faced by the Post and the Times continues to be studied in journalism schools today. Moreover, the Manifesto itself, while the product of a disturbed mind, raised questions about technology and society that many found prescient. In the years since its publication, as technology has become ever more pervasive in our lives, some of the Unabomber's concerns about the erosion of privacy and human autonomy have found echoes in mainstream discourse. The case also had a significant impact on criminal investigations. The use of linguistic analysis to identify Kaczynski demonstrated the potential of this technique in solving crimes, paving the way for its increased use in future investigations. As we reflect on the publication of the Unabomber's Manifesto, we're left with profound questions about the role of media in society, the ethics of negotiating with terrorists, and the double-edged nature of technological progress. How do we balance public safety with the public's right to know? What responsibilities do news organizations have when lives are at stake? And how do we grapple with the valid concerns about technology while rejecting the violent means some might use to express them? This is American Shadows, where we peer into the darker corners of our nation's recent past. Until next time, remember that history isn't just a collection of dates and names. It's a living force that shapes our world in ways both seen and unseen. The echoes of the Unabomber case continue to resonate, challenging our notions of media ethics, the power of the written word, and our complex relationship with technology. As we navigate our own technologically advanced era, let's consider the lessons from the Unabomber case. How do we balance progress with ethical considerations? How can we address societal concerns without resorting to violence? The shadows cast by the Unabomber's Manifesto are long indeed, and they continue to influence our discussions on technology, society, and the power of ideas in ways we are still struggling to fully comprehend.